Jim is the co-founder and CEO of Graymatter Labs. Graymatter partners with PhD molecular biologists to make plant-based alternatives to pharmaceutical drugs. Are there samples?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, let's give a warm welcome to Jim.
Thank you. So I'm Jim Phillips. I'm from the class of 2006. I studied marketing and IME with Zaffer, so thanks for having me. I was a bench rider on the basketball team back when we made our last NCAA tournament. We used to actually make the NCAA tournament, so it used to be good. I don't look like someone who had open heart surgery 6 months ago, but I am. You're here. So I almost died, and by my doctor's accounts, I should be dead. So I'm going to talk to you about a story of resilience, finding purpose, and going all in. Do I have a clicker? Yeah. So quickly, my background. I spent my entire career in startups for 16 years across 7 companies. 3 of them have had exits. You might know of some of them on here. The most recent one is called Charm. It's an e-commerce software company. We track every direct-to-consumer brand in the world, so Smaller Things is definitely in our database. Why this was interesting is because the incumbent business directories, like a Zoom Info, had trouble identifying just websites on the internet. So we built the ability to detect it, we categorized brands, and then performance rank them. So we could tell you that Smaller Things is a very fast-growing pajama brand. So it was a small team. I did all of the customer-facing activity there. We grew it to $1 million in revenue, and we sold it to a company called Swiftline in New York. I then stayed on at Swiftline to run Charm, and things were going good. There was a lot more that we could do with the product and the business, and I was excited to be there. Then I started getting sick. In August of last year, I had a fever, fatigue, muscle pain, night sweats. I didn't really think anything of it at the time, for the first week or so, and then when it wouldn't go away, I went to my doctor, did a bunch of tests, and they concluded that I must have a virus and I should just wait it out. So that's what I did for 70 more days. Every single day, I had a fever. Every single night, I sweat through my bed sheets. It was terrible. I went to countless specialists, ER visits, minute clinics, and no one could figure out what was wrong with me. I thought that I literally might die. Then I got a blind spot in my right eye. At this point, I'm thinking, WTF is happening? What more could be possibly happening to me? I've never had problems with my vision. I found a retina specialist. His name's Matthew McCumber. He's at St. Joseph's up north on the lake. And he took a bunch of pictures of my eyes and determined that there was blood on my retina. My eyeballs were literally bleeding. I didn't even know that was possible, right? And then he said, you might have something called endocarditis. I said, what's that? He said, it's an infection in your heart. And so I quickly looked up what the symptoms were, and you guessed it, fever, fatigue, muscle pain, and night sweats. So at this point, I was so happy. I was so happy that he had found or potentially found what was wrong with me. I quickly went to the hospital, and unfortunately, when I got there, I was told that I needed heart surgery immediately to save my life. I was in heart failure. The bacteria was attacking my aortic valve for so long that it destroyed it. And now this piece of metal that you see on the side is my new aortic valve that is pumping in my heart right now. So I say all that. I still don't know how I got the infection, but I think I know why. Now, it gave me some very good existential perspective about how I want to live this second chance at life. And doing all that work at Charm and tracking all these brands made me want to start one. And so I did. And we talked about side hustles earlier. I started a side hustle. Spending my entire career in startups, there's always something to do. There's always more work to be done. So I would experiment often with ways to be more productive and have more focus. And I ended up taking nootropics, adaptogens, and it worked really, really well for me. And when I would talk about them, it was obvious that there was a lack of awareness about this and that other people could benefit from it. So I started Graymatter Labs with a PhD molecular biologist. Her name's Virginie Mansuet-Aubert. And the premise of the company is to make plant-based alternatives to pharmaceutical drugs. Our first product is called BrightMind, and this is a combination of 27 active ingredients that I used to take myself trying to be more productive. You can think of it kind of like a natural version of a prescription stimulant. And yes, there are samples, and we'll send them all to you. It was a slow roll. Like I said, it was a side project. It took us a while to really kind of find who our customer was, how to market it. And I was just doing it on the side from Charm. But ironically, when I started dying, essentially, Graymatter was coming alive, started taking off. We figured out who to market it to, and we launched subscription. And in Q4 of last year, we 7x'd our subscribers. The retention on those subscribers is stellar. And we get just really amazing reviews. People are saying things like, it's the best stuff you'll ever try. I've been taking Adderall in 5 days. I hope this never sells out. I have better conversations with my boyfriend because of this. Like somebody actually said that. I said, thank you for giving me my life back. So these were just astonishing to me. And so as they kept coming in, it just became clearer and clearer that this is how I should live the second part of my life. So that's what I'm doing. Going all in on Graymatter. I quit Charm in February. We're in the process of raising some funds so we can go faster. And the V2 of our product is launching later in May. So I guess the moral of the story, if I could leave you with two things, is to reframe your experiences of pain and suffering, and that you have an invisible clock that's ticking. So, when bad things happen to us, we often fight it. Why me? And you try to get out of it. I think that you should start to try to embrace it and reframe it, because you can always connect the dots backwards, and you'll understand kind of why it happened, and you'll be in a better place. And there's a lot of people that believe this, and one of them is Jensen Huang. He's NVIDIA's CEO. It's one of the most valuable companies in the world. They make the chips in our iPhones. He was giving a talk at Stanford a few weeks ago, and he basically said, I wish upon you pain and suffering to the entire audience. And it's because resilience matters in success, and you become resilient through character. And what builds character is having struggle and pain and suffering. So he literally said, I wish upon you pain and suffering. And then the second is time. Not to be a bearer of bad news, but we're all going to die at some point. And we don't know when that is going to be. So having that existential perspective really sparks something in me. And it's giving me more ambition. It's making me more grateful about simply being here. And it makes me want to do something so much bigger than what I was doing before. So I'm here to pass that spark on to you, and to remind you that you don't need to have a near-death experience to simply just choose to do something big. I'm actually here to argue that you should think about the biggest thing that you can do and go for it and just start it, because you don't know when your time is going to be up. So my life almost ended. It helped me find my purpose, and that's to help as many people as I can through the products that Graymatter creates. Thanks for listening to my story, and happy to take any questions.
What kind of issues does your product help to solve and to cure?
Yeah,
or
so
maybe cure is a little bit too far-fetched, yeah.
Yeah, it helps with focus. And we found that the main customer of BrightMind today are people with ADHD, and we found that through our reviews. It's funny enough, I actually was going to launch this in gaming and had talked to Hawk years ago, and it just took us a while to find our customer, and we found them through everyday people starting to buy it, and then listening to them about what it's doing to help them. And a large amount of our customers today have ADHD and don't want to take a prescription stimulant all the time. And so it helps with focus. Nootropics, if you don't know what those are natural substances that help your cognition. They literally improve and increase the synapse connections in your brain. And so they make you smarter, and there's no side effect. And so everyone should be taking them. And so that's kind of my premise and my theory, and why we started it, is to increase the awareness of that.
Does it help for pain?
No. Maybe maybe we'll make another product.
Let's talk about pain.
Yeah.
So my question is, so far, have you faced any negative criticisms, and how have you managed that? If not, what crisis strategies are you putting in place? Because I mean, pharmaceuticals it's a very sensitive industry, and then it's possible that this might come up in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's some people who need prescription drugs. 100%. We're not here to say that you shouldn't take them, but there should be an alternative. And so that's the premise. When you have a consumer packaged good, there's always someone who's going to have a negative review about it, like the Yelpers that are out there. And that's fine. I think you can learn a lot from them. So yeah, sometimes we get bad reviews. I always reach out to them and try to get more information, because it's almost always going to help you grow. So I think any sort of negative review or negative experience, just like the kind of the premise of this talk, can actually help you get to a better place with your product.
Second question, what are the marketing strategies that you are utilizing to get your message out?
Yeah, Meta. I tried multiple things, and absolutely the most impactful and effective is still Meta. So Instagram, Facebook ads, they built the best advertising platform that's ever been created, and it works.
Your story is I resonate with it a lot. But my question to you is how there's a lot of competition within making beverages that are a little bit more tailored to ADHD and that. So how have you been able to stand out amongst your competition?
Yeah. Yeah, so I used to think the same thing, actually, and that's why we were originally going to go for gaming and wanted that very specific niche. What we found is that even though there are already products that are out there, we simply wanted to just make a better one, and we feel like we did. So objectively, you can look at the ingredients that are in ours, and it's double the next closest competitor. So I would say, when you start a business, you don't want to start it from a place of fear of the competition. And even if there's somebody already out there, the internet is huge. It's so much bigger than we could possibly even conceive. And so just because one company is out there doing well, you can absolutely join them in what they're doing. So
I'm just going to say, in terms of your positioning and messaging, I haven't looked at it all, so I'm curious as to whether you've gone the anti-pharmaceutical route, or have you gone the pro-health route, and sort of, is it positive messaging, or you've gone anti?
Positive. Well, you always want to market the result of the product, not the actual characteristics of it. And yes, I think it's a very common kind of thought that people don't like big pharma, and so that's working. But when we market the product, it's more about what does this product actually do for you? What problem for you does it solve? And so it's about productivity, it's about brain fog, it's about ADHD, it's about having something that might be a little bit more than coffee. So definitely trying to market in a positive manner about what this can do for the customer.
And sorry, and I missed it, but this is DTC subscription.
Yes, correct.
Right, last one.
I don't have a question. I just want to say, I think obviously you know your brand better than anyone, but I think you have a customer base in graduate students. I'm not even joking. If I could actually buy this now. Like, if I get Graymatter and it gets me with 5 assignments straight on one night, why not?
Yep.
Actually,
I
Thank
think Zuffer's student base is your next target market.
No, I appreciate that. I would love to send it to you for free. So just email me here. Tell me, DePaul, tell me your address and your email, and I'll send it to you. Anyone. Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Jim. Such a powerful story. I was holding back tears. I was also holding back tears on the baby video previously, so probably by happy hour, they're gonna come out. All right, this is our last TED Talk session. So we have two, a double, awesome. Miss Kate Stevenson is no stranger to DePaul. We're so excited to have you back. Kate leads client strategy at Brightfield.